How's it going? So, Charlo, Jamal Charlo is now officially Canelo's opponent for his next fight. First fight of the PBC 3-fight deal. It's a surprising one. It definitely took everyone by surprise. We expected Canelo to be fighting Jamal Charlo, the bigger Charlo, or we say bigger, really both Charlos are the same size. They're twins, they're the same size, they're the same exact size. It's just years ago they played Gang and More, or rock paper scissors, and Jamal lost, and so he had to lose the extra 6 pounds to get down to 154, because obviously the two brothers that they didn't want to be at the same division. They both wanted to be champions, so to get around that, one had to lose weight, right? More weight, I should say, more weight. So that's the only difference. The Charlo brothers are the exact same size. So this guy Jamal, he's not small for 168. He's taller than Canelo. That's if the fight is at 168. There might be a catch weight of 164, 162. But if the fight is at 168, Jamal Charlo, even though he's 154 currently and 154 undisputed champion, he's not actually small for 168. This is a guy, 6 foot tall. So, he's been cutting a lot of weight to get down to 154. Now, in saying that, I've seen people saying this is a great fight, undisputed versus undisputed. Jamal's a pound for pound guy. It's a 50-50 fight, some people are saying. I even hear people, some other people are saying 60-40, in terms of how they see the fight. But for mine, this is, Jamal's got no chance. Absolutely no chance. I see this fight as irrelevant, unnecessary. I don't see anything Jamal can do to win this fight. I mean, even being an undisputed champion, a lot of people are putting a lot of value into that, that he's undisputed champion. Undisputed champion doesn't really mean anything. What means something, what's really valuable, is who you've beat, the names on your resume. That's what's important, not holding titles. Because if you win titles against weak opposition, it doesn't really say anything about you, which is what Jamal has done. 154, the 154 division is very, very weak, and the best fighter, or most dangerous fighter, I would say, to be at 154 in a long time is Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu comes along, and what does Jamal do? He decides to not fight that fight, which he was meant to, right? Apparently he was injured, and so had to pull out of the Tim Tszyu fight. But in hindsight, maybe he knew. He already had word that he could fight Canelo, right? Maybe this was already set up a long time ago. Because, don't forget, he did pull out of the Tim Tszyu fight. And now when Tim Tszyu beat his last opponent in one round, it was meant to be Jamal Charlo Tim Tszyu for undisputed at 154. But Jamal decided to leave the division to fight Canelo. Now, on one hand, you can't really say much about that. If a Canelo fight comes along, life-changing money, you can't really blame a guy for taking the fight. But again, it's an unnecessary fight. Canelo's going to win this fight comfortably. And getting back to Jamal at being undisputed, his best opponents, Jamal's best opponents are Castano, right? Castano, Harrison, and Lubin. Now, all those fighters are good fighters. They're decent. They are decent fighters, right? But they're not elite fighters. They're not great fighters. They're just decent level fighters. And let's not forget, Castano drew with Charlo in their first fight. Many people believe Castano won that fight. And Harrison had a win over Charlo. In their second fight, I thought Harrison was actually winning the second fight as well. And then Charlo landed a big shot. Credit to him. He landed that big shot. He put out Harrison. Okay. But that stoppage was I wasn't completely happy with that, because Harrison was still on his feet. Harrison was still moving his head. He was on his feet. He was rocked. But I thought that was a bit of an early stoppage in a fight that Harrison was winning. So my point there is, this Charlo, he's lost to Harrison. He's drawn with Castano. He won the rematches, but these guys aren't world beaters. They're not elite level. So my point there is, the gulf in class between the likes of Harrison and Castano to Canelo, it's a huge gulf in class. Canelo is far, far more superior of a fighter than anybody that Jamal Charlo's fought. It's just, he's taking 5 steps up in competition to fight Canelo. So, it's massive. And Charlo, like I say, having drawn with Castano and lost to Harrison, Charlo has sort of shown the level he's at. He's at their level. He's not this great pound for pound fighter. He's the best of a weak division. And even then, when a true challenger comes along, a guy with real power, Tim Tszyu, comes along, he leaves the division to fight Canelo. So yeah, it is what it is. I think it's really unnecessary. I think there's no point in this fight happening. It's going to be, Canelo walking him down, Charlo trying to survive. I think Canelo stops him. Jamal, I'm not totally shitting on Jamal Charlo. He's a decent fighter, right? He's a good fighter, but being undisputed doesn't mean anything at all when you win it in a fairly weak division. And like I say, the step up, the difference between Castano and Canelo is huge. There's a huge difference. So yeah, Charlo, all he can do really is try to survive in this fight, try to make it 12 rounds. That's all I can see him doing. He does have power, but Canelo's got a great chin. He's been in there with Triple G, Kovalev, guys like this. So, Charlo's he can't rely on knocking Canelo out. He's actually got to win this over 12 rounds and win it well. So there's just, I can't see any way he does it. But yeah, let me know what you think. Why is this fight happening, and does Jamal have any chance at all of winning this one?